Good evening and welcome to the fastest half hour in the cryptid world, This Week in Bigfoot, the news show that scours the internet and the Bigfoot community each and every week to bring you the stories making headlines around the Bigfoot world. Then we take it and wrap it up in a nice, neat 30-minute package. If it has to do with Sasquatch, Bigfoot or the Wildman, we've got it all covered. Well, it looks like the band's getting back together again, and this time, Tom Biscardi and the Swede are trying their luck with the Orang Pendek and the people of Thailand. Fearing Bigfoot sightings. So what exactly is going on here? Mike Luci's done the research and explains why things might not be as they appear. Snowwalker continues to roam the back roads of Maine in the latest 2 Minutes With, and Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum heads to Utah to investigate Bigfoot sightings in the land of the Skinwalker. These stories and more, so grab a drink, buckle up and settle in, because we got so much to do and so little time to do it. Let's go.
With someone or something crawling around out here. Get somebody out there.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know. He's all black and big. He is big.
Our lead story this week looks like the band's getting back together. On May 26th in San Francisco, controversial Bigfoot researcher Tom Biscardi announced to the press his latest project, Bigfoot in Thailand, the Ultimate Expedition. The goal to uncover and document concrete evidence of Bigfoot in a region of the world where sightings have been reported for centuries. The legendary creature known as Orang Pendek in Thailand has remained a mystery, and Biscardi and company have their sights set on shedding light on its existence. And while reports of Bigfoot in Thailand and other parts of Southeast Asia have been circulating for years, the region has largely been neglected by serious researchers due to serious challenges such as weather, terrain, wildlife, culture, and politics. Biscardi acknowledged these obstacles, but believes that with his team's more than 50 years of combined experience, they are more than equipped to take on this unique and demanding expedition. Joining Biscardi on this adventure are two old friends and longtime team members, Robert the Swede Holmberg, the tracker, hunter, and survivalist, more on him in a bit, and little-known researcher Chris Contreras from Kern County, California. Also traveling with Biscardi's band of brothers will be a Buddhist monk named At, most likely acting as a local liaison, fixer, and translator, providing cultural guidance and helping the group gain access to the lands and people associated with Bigfoot sightings in Thailand by drawing on his in-country contacts. At, no doubt, is most likely representing the Thai government as well on some level, in my opinion, as this expedition has all the earmarks of Biscardi talking the Thai Office of Tourism into helping finance the trip, with Thailand receiving the proceeds of Biscardi's snake oil salesman charms to help promote U.S. tourism back into a country that in recent years has been rocked by political unrest. Thailand has a rich history of Bigfoot reports, with accounts dating back to the 16th century. And despite thousands of reported sightings and several scientific expeditions launched since the 1920s, tangible evidence of the creature's existence has remained elusive. Biscardi is confident, though, that with the help of the Thai government, academic leaders, and locals who have encountered or witnessed the creature, his expedition will not only create a comprehensive historical library of Bigfoot in Thailand, but will also help produce clear evidence of its presence in the country. According to Biscardi, the entire journey will be meticulously documented, with cameras rolling all the time, collecting interviews with witnesses and experts, field investigations, and potentially even encounters with the creature. The footage will then be used to create a new documentary, I think he's done this before, that aims to provide an in-depth exploration of Bigfoot in Thailand and the evidence Team Biscardi hopes to find. Now, it's important to note that Biscardi and the Swedes' involvement in previous Bigfoot hoaxes, like the 2008 Georgia incident, has raised serious questions by everybody about the team's credibility and integrity. The Georgia hoax damaged the reputation of the Bigfoot research community and emphasized the need for skepticism and critical thinking when evaluating extraordinary claims. Some of my all-time favorite Biscardi moments can be found in the UK documentary, Shooting Bigfoot.
You come out in the brush and you see what it's all about with me. Half of you people all go by the wayside within 4 hours, or you cry for your mama in the middle of the night. This may be my last expedition, and this may be the time that once and for all we're going to solve this mystery. And you're riling me up, okay? But I'm glad you are. It's about time that somebody comes forth and tells the truth. I'm here to do one thing, is to bring one of these creatures back.
Despite the controversy surrounding Biscardi and his team, like it or not, they remain active figures within the Bigfoot community, and are currently committed to search for evidence, or at least that's their story and they're sticking to it. Now, it's crucial for those interested in this expedition to approach any and all of Biscardi's claims with skepticism and critical thinking, learning from the cautionary tale of the 2008 Georgia hoax. In order to create support and raise awareness for the project, the website ThaiBigfoot.com has been launched, offering pre-expedition information, including data for potential partner organizations and individuals interested in joining the hunt. So if you've been to Thailand and you've had a Bigfoot sighting or an encounter, or maybe you want to go to Thailand and look for Bigfoot with Tom, you can do that. Or maybe you want to give Tom some of your hard-earned cash, you can do that too. All you have to do is reach out to him. You can email him at team@ThaiBigfoot.com.
So what do you think of those reports out there where people are saying they saw squatches that are supposedly 10, 12, 14, 15 feet tall? Although some of these witnesses claim that they use something for scale to make that determination, a lot of these claims should really be taken with a grain of salt, and here's why. Again, we discussed this in a previous episode. Think about the emotions you're going to experience probably when you have an encounter like this. I'm sure fear is going to be one of them, so just keep that in mind. A few studies seem to show that people in a state of fear tend to overestimate size and even underestimate distance. A study from Ohio State University had a group of arachnophobes, that's people with the fear of spiders, interact with tarantulas in uncovered glass tanks. After measuring each participant's fear level when standing at different distances from the tank, they then had them physically nudge the tarantulas with probes that were 8 inches or shorter. They were then asked to estimate the tarantula's length, the participants, by drawing a line on some paper. The most fearful ones drew lines that were on average 50% longer than the actual tarantula's length, with some being 2 to 3 times longer. These findings are consistent with similar studies showing people with a fear of heights tended to overestimate the distance below them when looking down from a balcony. Follow-up studies also revealed that arachnophobes even overestimated a spider's size just by looking at it when in a state of fear, and that fear prompted people to do the same with sizes of other inanimate objects. In another study, objects were presented on a screen. The participants then had to estimate when these objects would collide with them. When presented with fear-inducing objects like snakes or spiders, participants assumed they were closer and underestimated their distance compared to less threatening ones like a rabbit or a butterfly. This same study also found a relative correlation between the level of fear and underestimations in collision times. So these studies all seem to shed light on how fear distorts our perceptions. I discussed in a previous episode what happens to our brains when extreme emotions are induced. So I think what we're seeing here seems to be an extension of that circumstance. Nonetheless, the next time someone claims they saw a squatch that was 12, 15 feet tall, perhaps it'd be wise to take these accounts with a grain of salt and take factors like this into consideration.
Today's episode of This Week in Bigfoot is sponsored by Got Knockers Apparel and Clothing. From hoodies and caps to soaps, keychains, and bats, Got Knockers has everything you need to show your love of Bigfoot. For more information and to shop their items, be sure to visit the Got Knockers page on Facebook at facebook.com/Got Knockers. Hey, Got Knockers? You know summer's officially here when the History Channel rolls out The Proof Is Out There, its popular docuseries. The show attempts to figure out the strange, inexplicable, seen and not believed, and sometimes downright bizarre. Host Tony Harris is a seasoned newsman, an investigative journalist who rose the ranks at local news in Baltimore and Atlanta, then on to CNN and Al Jazeera, until making a home at true crime investigation television before being signed by the History Channel.
It works on that level of trying to discern what's real and what's fake. And we don't hesitate to call out the hoaxes and the fakesters and the fraudsters.
The Proof Is Out There team relies on academics, journalists, experts, and scientists to follow the facts and lead the discussion as the submissions roll into the producers. The show's producers receive hundreds of videos and photos and scores of recorded sounds that defy explanation, as extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. Thank you, Carl Sagan.
Extraordinary claims.
Whether the video is legit or not is determined by a roster of experts who examine every aspect of the media. Then, in a structured and thorough presentation, the evidence, analysis, and verdict are delivered for each segment. The third season of The Proof is Out There finds Idaho Bigfoot expert Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum, the well-known professor of anatomy and anthropology from Idaho State University, returning to the series to investigate Beehive State Bigfoot claims. That's Utah. As it was only 4 short years ago when Austin Craig captured this alleged Bigfoot standing tall on a hill above his house in Provo.
Footage of the Sasquatch. Okay, seriously, look how big it is. He's just chilling. I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch. Because look, he's on the mountain, way far back on the mountain. But look how huge he is.
Meldrum appeared on the series last season to help push his argument that the PG film footprints are indeed authentic.
This is a real dynamic signature of a consistent functional aspect of the foot. Remarkably compelling evidence.
Dr. Meldrum can be seen on the Monsters in the Attic, Houston UFO, and Utah Bigfoot episode of The Proof is Out There, which airs next Friday, June 16th, right after This Week in Bigfoot, 10:05 Eastern on the History Channel.
We have yet another bizarre photo of an alleged Bigfoot coming out of the Tar Heel State, this time in War, North Carolina. Posted in the Sasquatch Highway Facebook group on June 4th, the Facebook user claimed she took the photo last year while on vacation with her family. She spotted the alleged figure while taking photos of deer at a nearby creek, but after snapping the picture, wound up leaving after her son said he was nervous. There was apparently a fence separating her from the figure, which she says was on private property, so she didn't want to trespass, for those wondering why she didn't return to the scene or even try and pursue the figure. The photo's original poster said she took this image before spotting the figure, which I guess was supposed to give us a frame of reference to her surroundings. Although she didn't clarify whether she believed the purported figure was also captured in this image, one of the first things I notice is a small deer in the center right area of the photo. It's a blurry still shot, so I'm neither going to entertain nor argue whether it appears to be in an alarm state, but we have to question if a deer would even stay in such close proximity to a Squatch, let alone one that's out in the open like that, which is supposed to be uncharacteristic behavior of a Bigfoot. Well, the debate raged over this one until commenting was actually turned off by group moderators. Your skeptics largely dismissed the figure as a stump or large boulder, with a few commenters even believing the image was photoshopped. Those who believe the figure could be a Squatch argue it's colored differently than other boulders or vegetation surrounding it, while others even thought the figure looked like it had fur. Quite a few believed the picture captured a female Squatch with their child, and a good number of people even thought the image could have been of a juvenile one. Now, there were some efforts by other commenters to improve the image's resolution, so I'm just going to throw these images out there. Not sure if these will sway anyone's opinion on the matter, but I do appreciate their initiative. I couldn't come across any other reports coming out of Warren or elsewhere in Clay County, North Carolina, but did find several coming from surrounding areas in North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Georgia. Now, I wouldn't put money on this being anything we really want it to be, but like I always say, that's just one opinion. So in the end, it's your call to decide if this is a fact or hoax.
By now, with us being 14 shows into the season, you should all know what time it is. It's the part of the show where we give content creator Michael Merchant, aka Snowwalker Prime, screen time to speak his mind and get what's ever bothering him off his chest. Yup, you got it. We call it 2 Minutes With.
Echo Station 3K.
Spotted Imperial Walker. Imperial Walker.
Jay, we have spotted Imperial Walkers.
Imperial Walkers on the North Ridge.
Expedition Bigfoot Season 4. I'm so excited. I don't want to be over the top, but it is the best Bigfoot series on television. You know it's all fake, right? Oh, here we go. Mr. Know-It-All. What makes you think it's fake? Where do you suppose they're staying this time? At the Anton Dude Cattle Ranch? No, silly, they're in the wilderness. You know it sounds really dumb, but would be brilliant. Let's get a submarine. Let's go down to the paddock and get into the frog pond. Oh, you know what would be a really good idea? Let's throw a cow skull in there to look at. We'll claim we're looking for a submerged Sasquatch. Oh, yeah. That's a great idea. Fantastic. Have you noticed with each season that the backpack just keeps getting bigger and bigger? What's in that backpack? A Winnebago? A Cessna float plane? Costco? Times Square? A lineman for the county? All right, now we've hung chimp pheromones all throughout the forest. And now we're going to collect some environmental DNA. Oh my God, we got chimp DNA. What a mystery. I wonder where it came from. Myra, do you copy? Ronnie, I copy you. Do you copy me? We copy you. Does Russell, do you copy us? Russell. I smell something. I smell something foul and sinister and perhaps even evil. Evil. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear it? Did you hear that? I heard something. It's deathly silent. No, I heard something. Yeah, I'm saying it's deathly silent. No, I heard something. It's deathly silent. Oh, I smell something too. Ooh, that's foul. Ronnie, break out the flare. Roger, Dodger, Dover, Fox, Croft, Charlie, Delta. I copy you. Is that a Sasquatch? I think I'm looking at a No, that's Myra's ass. Ronnie, why are you still looking? Just make sure. Yeah, it's still Myra's ass. What's in the backpack? Your ego? Explain why it gets bigger every season. Yeah, I wonder what's in that backpack. Is it your integrity? Oh, that's right. You don't have any. What is in that backpack? Did you have to lug around a backpack the size of a refrigerator? What's that thing weigh? 16 ton? 16 ton. What do you get?
Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, cause I can't go. I owe my soul
to the company store. Remember the toxic Cinnabar mine with vapors so toxic? They had to have a specialized drone to go in there to poke the Bigfoot nest. This was a harmless gold mine tourist attraction at the Anton Dude Cattle Ranch, frequented daily by tourists. And why is Russ repelling off from everything? Repelling off from trees, repelling off from cliffs, repelling out of helicopters.
My fastest way down is gonna be off this cliff.
We get it, you can repel for no obvious reason. Let's just sprinkle a bunch of chimpanzee DNA all throughout the forest. We're trying to attract Sasquatch, wink wink. Break out the environmental DNA Hoover vacuum. Oh my God, we got chimpanzee DNA. How did that happen? What a mystery. There is no algorithm. There's no algorithm. There's no algorithm. Algorithm my ass. If you've got an algorithm that tells you where the hotspot is, why do you keep changing locations? Why do you go to a different location every season? If you found Sasquatch in an area, wouldn't you go back again and again?
I owe my soul to the company store.
Hey, Ronnie, I'm in position.
A monster-sized footprint has been discovered, and some in the Bigfoot community are convinced it was left by Bigfoot. The image of the giant footprint pressed in the sand was shared on the Bigfoot Believers Facebook group by member Jill Burke. In the comments section, she explains that she found it roughly 3 miles off trail at the Joshua Tree National Park in Southern California. In order to give the print scale, Jill placed her foot alongside the supposed Bigfoot footprint. Her shoe was absolutely dwarfed by the track, which appeared more than 2 times larger. She commented that she wears a size woman's 8 shoe, making the size of the print in the photo approximately 19.3 inches in length. Several members of the group believe Jill, as there are now well over 1,100 comments on the post, as most are convinced she stumbled across the real thing and that it must have been a much larger than average Bigfoot. There were, however, some doubters asking as to why there was only one single footprint and why she only took one photo. Burke also went on to comment that she has seen many more prints like the one in the photo on her hikes and claims to know where a few families of Bigfoot live in the area. She also states that the television series Expedition Bigfoot has reached out to her and plans on joining her in a future investigation, even though season 4 is already well underway in Alaska. But knowing the show's track record for pulling up stakes and moving mid-season, she may be right. So make of it what you will, take another look at it, and as always, let us know what you think in the comment section. I'd like to make just a quick correction from last week's show. We ran a footprint from the Coalition for Critical Thinking's Facebook group. The footprint was actually found and photographed by Michelle Blout and not Joseph Wheeler, as we stated in the show. So I'd like to thank Joe Dryden for writing into the show, making a comment, and letting us know. And Michelle apparently used her size 14 shoe to determine the scale of the impression.
All right, my apologies in advance if the title appears misleading. This particular segment doesn't directly involve Bigfoot, but I think it has enough Bigfoot-type elements to warrant a little bit of coverage. A woman named Corinne Stanhope of Powell River, British Columbia, reportedly caught footage of these two ghastly figures on a camera she set up near her home. According to Stanhope, she set the camera up there after coming across a deer carcass on her property to see what animals would approach the remains. The disturbing footage was reportedly discovered by her grandfather, who described the figures as scantily clad, disheveled witches. The figures emerged about 10 minutes after sunset, but it's unclear whether they were actually eating the carcass, performing some sort of ritual, or even just paying their respects to the deceased deer. Apparently, Stanhope says one of the figures is holding a hoof up to her mouth, but isn't sure if it was just smelling it or actually eating it. Stanhope was creeped out by the incident, saying she feared for her horse's safety, since the spot where it happened was just a 2-minute walk from her house. One particularly interesting thing, she claims, is that her horses always grew really spooked and unnerved around that particular area where they found the deer carcass. For me, it's reminiscent of how the horses that Bob Glimlin and Roger Patterson rode, how they supposedly acted that day as they approached the site where they supposedly filmed Patty. Now, just remember, these are only still shots from the original video footage, which has, as of recording this, yet to be publicly released, at least a version that I've been able to find. So keep in mind, it's unclear who or what these people actually are, although some in the online community expect it to be nothing more than a prank or hoax. Some even are actually accusing Stanhope herself of posing as one of the figures, arguing they have similar hair color and body physique. What do you think about that? Just goes to show there's a lot more than potential Bigfoot out in the woods, and if you're into things like using trail cameras setting them up as a hobby or part of your research regimen, you never really know what you'll ultimately wind up capturing, and sometimes it could be even stranger than a Bigfoot.
It's time to catch you up to speed on a couple of recent Bigfoot podcasts and live streams. First up, Discovery Sasquatch and the launching of the brand new show, Encounters. Here, Connecticut Bigfoot researcher and show host Chris interviews Arkansas resident Pam about her Bigfoot encounters and the effect of PTSD on Bigfoot witnesses. Let's check it out.
This thing is crazy. I've seen another picture of it before, but this is the first time when you showed me this was the first time I ever seen this. This is a trail cam picture. I don't know what that is. There's a raccoon in the bottom of it, but the rest of it, you got me. I've never seen it, but there are other people who have caught it in Sasquatch areas.
And see where that light is, there is no light source. I mean, the way the camera was facing, I don't know where that light is coming from.
Yeah. It's not even if that was a spider web, say that's a huge spider web, that light is not going to reflect off of it like that. The light from the camera.
Well, the thing of it is where that's at though. There was nothing for a spider web of that size to attach to. I mean, even it's a field. It's out in front of our house. There was nothing for that to attach to. So I don't know.
Next, we head south to Sweet Home, Alabama, to the town of Evergreen, the Bigfoot capital of the state, to check out a Bigfoot calling contest in the town that loved Bigfoot. Roll Tide.
Evergreen is not just the Bigfoot capital of Alabama. It's also the collard green capital of Alabama. Every year, Evergreen puts on a collard green festival where people come from far and wide to eat, enjoy some arts and crafts, and of course, hear the roars of the Bigfoot calling competition.
We're also the collard green capital of Alabama.
The Bigfoot stuff has been incorporated into a number of events.
We have a Bigfoot calling contest.
Give us your best Bigfoot call.
Bigfoot! Come on, baby! Yeah, Bigfoot, 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 you little quarter.
In the third slot, it's the 603 Bigfoot channel with the world's leading Bigfoot scientist, Dr. Abel Cunningham. And when he's not busy tuning up dirt bikes or setting the timing on his neighbor's Jeep, he offers up a lighthearted whiteboard session on how to find Bigfoot. Let's check it out.
Hey everyone, Dr. Abel Cunningham here. As the world's leading Bigfoot scientist, I've had a lot of folks asking me recently, how do you go about finding Bigfoot? So I thought I would do a quick whiteboard session. I've got a graph behind me that will help me illustrate the scientific process behind finding Bigfoot. So where you want to start is how motivated are you to find Bigfoot? So let's say, for example, you're reasonably well motivated to find Bigfoot at maybe about a level 7. So you start over here on your vertical axis with the level 7, and you draw a horizontal line over here to the gradient. And then you draw another vertical line down to the horizontal axis to find out how much you need to fuck around to find Bigfoot. So in this case, if you're motivated to find Bigfoot at about level 7, you should expect to have to fuck around at about a level 7. However, this is not always a linear relationship like this. I mean, there have been many cases where people are barely fucking around at all, and yet sure enough, they find Bigfoot. There are other cases where, people are highly motivated to find Bigfoot, and they never find Bigfoot. A good example of this is Fat Phony Faker in the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. But the moral of this story is you can never find Bigfoot if you don't get out there and fuck around. So get out there, fuck around, and maybe you'll find Bigfoot. Thanks for watching.
Batting cleanup this week are the girls from the north, and that's North Dakota, the She-Swatchers. In their latest upload, Jen and Jenna sit around a fire with friends Mark and Randy to tell us about a daylight sighting they had on their good friend Randy's property in northern Minnesota. Take it away, Jen.
We just started our walk, and I looked way down the way, and I saw way down on the end, on the left, just outside of the trees, what I thought was a dead tree or something, because it was a large black looking mass that was standing there, and I thought, well, that does kind of look like it could be a Bigfoot, but it can't be a Bigfoot because Randy would have seen it and said something. So I didn't say anything right away, but as we continued to walk, I looked back and it wasn't there anymore.
I saw something actually on the right, and it was shorter than the 10-foot mark.
And the one that I saw was how when I described it, Randy, how tall did you figure it would be?
10 foot. It was because the black plastic wrap on the power line pole is the bottom is 10 foot. And I've seen the 10-footer down there. All my double class A sightings have been exactly in that same spot you're talking about.
Tonight's edition of This Week in Bigfoot is sponsored by Broken Branch Designs. From outerwear and clothing to home and garden decor, Broken Branch Designs has everything to do with Sasquatch. For more information, visit BrokenBranchDesignsLLC.com. Well, summer's here and Bigfoot conferences are still going strong. That being said, we all know there's only one guy we can all turn to keep us up to speed on the who's, the what's, and the where's, and that's Chuck Larson with another great show in this week's Spotlight.
Boreal Bigfoot Expo, June 10, 11, Fairbanks, Alaska. Conference Spotlight.
Tomorrow, June 10th, kicks off the annual Boreal Bigfoot Expo at Carlson Center, Fairbanks, Alaska. The two-day event runs from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday speakers include Larry Beans Baxter, Rob Roy Menzies, Fred Roll, and more. Sunday's schedule includes Michael Thompson and Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum. There will be a special screening of Small Town Monsters, Beyond the Trail, Bigfoot films. Alaskan Coastal Sasquatch will be on Saturday, and Last Frontier Sunday. A Q&A with filmmakers Alex Petikoff and Eli Watson will follow Saturday's screening. VIP dinner tickets are available for both nights, with Small Town Monsters Saturday and Dr. Meldrum Sunday. Tickets are limited to the first 15 people for each dinner at $75 a pop. Single day and weekend passes are still available. For Expo ticket pricing and updated event schedule, visit BorealBigfootExpo.com. And that's this week's Conference Spotlight. Brendon, back to you.
All right, folks, it pains me to say that we're all out of time for this week. I'd like to thank you for watching and remind you to like and share everything we do here at the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective. Tell your friends. And if you have any questions or comments, or maybe a story for the show, you can always drop us a line at thisweekinbigfootnewscast@gmail.com. So, until next week, for Mike Luci and Chuck Larson, I'm Brendon Brown, reminding you that when it comes to getting your Bigfoot news, be informed, not biased. Take care.